Preston Foster, coming your way with another episode of Waterfront.
Hi, Skipper.
Morning, Carl.
What's the scam on the weather?
Barometer's still down. This soup's got the whole harbor locked up.
I guess that means we'll be leaving the Osaka Maru outside the breakwater another day.
We sure can't bring it into this fog.
You should have stayed home and gotten another couple of hours extra sleep.
Big chance with Harriet and your mother yakking it up since 7 o'clock this morning.
It's nice for Mom to have a house guest, though.
Been years since they've been together, but they sure been making up for lost time.
When's their vacation over?
I don't know. She was taken off for Chicago yesterday.
What business is she in again?
Costume jewelry. She's a buyer for some Midwestern outfit.
She must do pretty well, huh?
Yeah, but I got a hunch. Harriet will trade places with your mom in a minute.
Thinks you're great, huh?
Well, let's say she likes what your mother and I have together.
You know, May, after the herricks, I think I'm going to miss this seafood most when I get back to Chicago. Oh, couldn't you stay another week? I wish I could, but I'm behind schedule now.
Have some more. Oh, be my guest.
I wouldn't dare.
Well, how about you, Mrs. Herrick? On the house, you know.
No, thank you, Mac. I've had it.
Well, you'll come back again, I hope.
If I'm in town, I'll be back. Thank you so much, Mac.
Goodbye.
Bye. This sunny California fog makes me mad. Do you think it'll lift before my vacation's over? Sure, it's liable to go any minute. I'd hate to miss my chance to see the Cheryl Ann Dock steamer. What's there about sailing in the harbor after all the traveling you do? Oh, it's different when you're on business. Must be wonderful going all those places, Mexico, South America. Oh, it's just a job. Must pay well. It better. Phil's insurance didn't leave very much, and I need every cent I can get. You know, it isn't easy when you're alone, May. I know. You're a very lucky woman. I know it. Have you ever thought of getting married again? No. What about that man you work for? Roger Morton? Yeah. Oh, he was just married last year. That's why I do all the traveling for the firm. How would you like to make an even trade, May? Your life for mine. Don't answer that. I'm just teasing because I'm envious. Harriet. Oh, forget it. Do you think John will go out today? I doubt it. Well, as long as we're this close, let's go visit him. Sure.
I know we promised you a trip on the Cheryl Ann, Harriet, but it looks like the elements are against us.
Oh, don't worry about me, John. Just think how those poor passengers aboard the Osaka Maru must feel.
Yeah, nothing worse than being stuck a mile offshore.
Calling the Cheryl Ann. Calling the Cheryl Ann.
Uh-oh. Maybe that's some news. Carolina dispatcher, go ahead, Herb.
Captain John, think you could manage a trip out to the Osaka Maru?
I might if it's absolutely necessary.
It is. Zach Morgan just asked me to relay a message to you.
Somebody sick?
No, it's official business. Mr. Ito Amayo is on his way down to the Cheryl Ann right now. Get him out to the Osaka Maru as fast as you can.
Sounds important.
Yeah, Mr. Amayo will tell you all about it. And come right back to port. Zach Morgan doesn't want the Cheryl Ann out in the fog any longer than necessary.
Neither do I.
Good luck, Captain John.
Thanks. A lot.
I think you ought to take Mom's advice and stay on another couple of days. Why don't you?
Please do. Don't tempt me.
What's up, Dad?
Looks like we're going out to the Osaka Maru after all.
Oh, how exciting.
Never be able to dock her.
We're not going to. There's a Mr. Ito Imai who has to get aboard.
He'd better have a good reason.
He does.
He must be very important. I mean, to make you go out in this weather.
Zach Morgan says it's official business.
Why, when there's a tough job to do they always call it official business?
Because they'd never get anybody to do it otherwise.
You better go below, Carl, and check out the motor.
May not be as good as Sid, but I'll turn him over. I'll see you later.
Don't give up, Harriet. You'll get a chance to see a stock of steamer before you get back to Chicago.
Of course. Well, I guess we better go, May. The men have work to do.
Bye.
Be careful, dear.
All right, you watch your step.
And this time I'm going to watch every move you make when you prepare that pot roast. Oh, it's very simple. Oh, sure, provided you know how to cook. Who can that be? I'll get it for you.
Well, there you are, Harriet. I was wondering if I had the right house.
What are you doing here?
Aren't you going to ask me in?
Who is it, Harriet? Mrs. Herrick. May I present Mr. Morton, my employer?
I'm very happy to know you, Mrs. Herrick.
Well, what a pleasant surprise. Harriet, you didn't tell me Mr. Morton was coming to California. I didn't know it myself.
Neither did I until yesterday. Just a quick business trip.
Well, won't you come in?
Thank you. May I help you with the...
No, thanks. Just go on in and make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
I'll be right with you, Roger. He seems very nice. Funny he didn't let you know he was coming out. He's full of surprises. Maybe you could persuade him to let you stay another week. I doubt it. May, do you mind if I talk to him? No, run along, dear. Oh, don't let him make you nervous. Why should he? Well, after all, he is your boss.
Very quaint.
Now, don't tell me you came all the way to California to comment on the Herrick's taste in furniture.
Hardly. I was concerned about you. After all, you were due back in Chicago 2 days ago.
Well, if you'd checked ship arrivals in any Los Angeles newspaper, you'd have known the Osaka Maru's been held up 2 days by fog.
I know. But sitting in Chicago, I could only speculate as to when the fog might lift. And the more I thought about the delay, the more my imagination began to run riot.
Get to the point, Roger.
Well, let's say that just enough time has elapsed for your feet to grow even colder than they were when I sent you here.
I have every intention of completing my work if that's what you're worrying about.
You know I never worry, Harriet.
But I do. At this moment, Captain John, Mrs. Herrick's husband, is taking a man out to the Osaka Maru on official business.
Probably from the steamship company. Sent aboard to placate the passengers for the delay.
Suppose you're wrong.
Don't be stupid, Harriet. Somewhere aboard the Osaka Maru is a man with a priceless Oriental masterpiece. An ivory figurine, more than 1,000 years old and worth 100 times that. He has orders to deliver it, and you have orders to accept it.
Roger, I'm frightened.
I have a customer who's waited 2 years for that figurine. He'll pay cash, enough so that we can quit once and for all. I promise I'll never ask you to do another job.
But what if something went wrong?
It never before. Oh, won't you come in, Mrs. Harriet?
I hope I didn't interrupt anything. I was wondering, wouldn't you have dinner with us, Mr. Morton? Oh, I'm sure he'll be much too busy, May. Oh, we'd love to have you.
Well, since this part of the country's all new to me, suppose you all join me for dinner. Perhaps at some seafood place on the waterfront?
There's the Lobster Claw.
Sounds perfect. Shall we all meet there at 7?
Captain John might be late.
Then I'll wait. Nice to meet you, Mrs. Harriet. Enjoy yourself while you can, Harriet. Almost time to get back to work.
Did I do wrong inviting him for dinner? Oh, of course not. It's a fact. I suddenly have a headache.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. Can I get you something?
Oh, no. I'll be all right.
Sorry about this snail's pace, Mr. Amai. This fog is sure no help.
But it is, Captain Harry. By delaying the Osaka Maru, it gave my government sufficient time to trace a priceless ivory figurine stolen from the National Museum in Tokyo. It is somewhere aboard that ship, waiting to be smuggled into the United States. You see, the thief was caught in Japan, so the actual smuggler aboard that ship has not been identified.
That'll be sort of like looking for a needle in a haystack, won't it?
The Japanese are a very patient race, Captain Harry. If we can preserve an ivory figurine for over 1,000 years, what is another day or two to ensure its safekeeping? My colleague and I will find it.
There she is.
Thank you for a safe journey, Captain Harry.
Good luck, Mr. Amai.
With all due respect to your culinary art, Mrs. Herrick, I'm grateful for your suggestion to come here.
Next to maize cooking, the lobster claw is the best.
Well, that's mighty high praise coming from John Herrick. You folks enjoy your dinner?
Just fine.
Wonderful.
I had no idea you could get this kind of lobster in California.
Well, confidentially, the crustaceans you had were flown here this morning from Maine. But don't tell the Chamber of Commerce. Excuse me, please. Lobster Claw, Mac Benson talking. Yes, he's here. Just a minute. Captain John, it's for you.
Oh, dear. I hope you won't have to go out for the Osaka Maru tonight.
Fog's lifting, might be. Excuse me.
It's the Coast Guard, Commander Cutler.
Oh? Commander Cutler? John Herrick speaking. Yes, Commander, this afternoon. When? Well, that's terrible. Yes, I understand. I'll be glad to tell you everything I know. I'll be right over. Goodbye, Commander. Mr. Morton, would you mind seeing the ladies home?
Not at all.
Oh, I knew it. You'll be half the night bringing that liner into port.
I may be up half the night, but not to bring in the Osaka Maru. The Coast Guard wants me to identify a body they fished out of the water.
Oh, how awful. Who was it?
Mr. Ito Imai, the official I took out on the Cheryl Ann this afternoon. And that's not all. They found another dead Japanese agent on board. You know, I could have sworn Mr. Amai was a cinch to capture that smuggler. Good night. Good night, hon.
Good night, dear. But, John, the Coast Guard can't hold up the Osaka Maru indefinitely.
Can, and they will until they've questioned every passenger on board.
With all those people waiting to get ashore?
Mm-hmm. Somewhere among them is a murderer.
I certainly don't envy Commander Cutler his job.
Neither do I. Well, I meant to ask you, did you come right home from the lobster claw last night?
Mm-hmm. I asked Mr. Morton in, but he seemed anxious to get back to his hotel. Guess he was tired. Harriet was, too. She went right up to her room.
Her light was still on when I got home about 2 o'clock.
It was?
Yeah. May have been my imagination, but I thought I heard her crying.
So did I. To tell the truth, I'm worried about Harriet. She really hasn't anyone to look after her.
Any danger of her losing her job?
Not that I know of.
All that talk of Morton's last night about retiring and living in Europe, I thought he might be giving up his business.
I hope not for Harriet's sake. She really needs that job.
Yeah, I guess so.
John,
May I tell you something?
Well, sure, what?
It's wonderful not to be alone.
Don't I know it?
Oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to intrude. Nonsense, you're one of the family.
Smoking before breakfast?
Oh, I'm used to it.
You feeling all right, Harriet?
Yes, I feel fine.
Well, I'll be down to Doc.
Bye,
So
John.
long, honey. Goodbye, Harriet.
Bye, John.
How about some nice hot cereal?
No, I don't want any breakfast, dear.
Harriet Barnaby, you've been eating a big breakfast every morning since you've been here.
Well, I shouldn't. It's fattening. May, do you mind if I run along? I have some things I should take care of this morning.
Oh, you can't start the day without some coffee.
No, I really don't want any. Thanks just the same. I'll see you later. Will you be back in time to go shopping? Now, you listen to me. Murder wasn't part of our bargain.
How was I to know that stupid courier on the Osaka Maru would start throwing knives?
You ought to know the kind of people you're dealing with.
My interest begins and ends with a certain ivory figurine.
Well, when the contact ever gets off that boat, you meet him.
The plan calls for him to meet a woman wearing a silver mink stole and a yellow orchid.
Roger, I'm through.
I don't think so. Unless you prefer that I turn over a complete transcript of all your activities to the federal authorities.
I'll tell them you forced me into this whole rotten business.
Harriet, you're a grown woman. Who'd believe you? My reputation and credit are impeccable. And in every one of our outside ventures, you were the one who made all the deals. New York, Mexico, San Francisco.
But you made all the arrangements.
I can prove that for the past 5 years, I've paid you $125 a week. Yet you've been spending nearly $10,000 a year to live and have 10 more in a savings account.
But you promised me that that would be listed as cash bonus.
It was, with receipts signed by you. They're all here, complete now, with detailed descriptions of every bit of stolen property you brought into the country.
But you can't do that.
And in case you're still not convinced, I'll tell them that I became suspicious, hired a private detective who turned up this evidence. Enough to alarm me so that I followed you out here.
All right, Roger. All right. You've ruined my life. But I won't let you implicate the Herricks. I'm going to move out of their house right now.
You're staying with them just as we planned.
I won't. I won't.
You'll wait until 1 hour after the Osaka Maru is docked, and you'll meet the contact as agreed. I'll be in the car waiting and watching.
Harriet. What are you doing down here? I thought you'd be home with May, having your usual gab fest. Harriet, what's the matter?
Oh, John, I have a problem to work out.
Well, if it's something that...
No, John.
Well, maybe if you talked about it. You know, May and I were talking about you this morning. We know it's not easy being all alone in the world, but I don't have to tell you that no matter what your trouble might be, we're still your friends. You want me to take you home?
No, thanks.
Well, I'll get on down to the Cheryl Ann, and the Coast Guard tells me we're bringing in the Osaka Maru sometime today.
Did they find the murderer?
No. Look her on, Carl. Full ahead.
It's about time, Skipper.
glad you got home. I waited most of the afternoon for you and couldn't figure out what had happened. Well, I had some business to take care of. And after you left so abruptly, You're not leaving. As a matter of fact, I am. Without saying goodbye. I was writing a note. Oh. I suppose you're going back to Chicago with Mr. Morton? Yes, tonight. I guess you'll be glad to get back on the job, huh? I'm not the home and family type. Then you and I always did have different ideas about what we wanted in life. We did, Harriet? Oh, yes. Once you get used to being on the go and independent, you realize how limiting it is to be stuck in one spot. I wouldn't trade places with you for anything. Harriet, in all the years I've known you, you never could tell a lie. What happened between you and Mr. Morton today? I didn't see him. I saw him follow you down the street this morning. And after John left you on the waterfront, he phoned me. We're not blind, Harriet. Whatever the trouble is, we'll help you. We're your friends. We'd do anything in the world for you.
May, will you please mind your own business?
Harriet!
You and John, you're not blind. You want to help. You're my own friends. Well, I don't need your help.
Maybe it was wrong of us to try.
Oh, you, Herrick, so smug and content in your safe little harbor on the waterfront, leading your nice, sweet, homey little lives.
Maybe you'd be a lot happier somewhere else.
John.
I mean it. We took you into our home and treated you like a member of the family, and all we asked in return was common courtesy.
Maybe you would have liked it better if I'd paid rent.
There's some reason why you're alone in the world, and as far as I'm concerned, you can stay that way.
With pleasure.
Let her go, May.
John. Oh, you didn't mean a word you said, and neither did she.
Sometimes it's better to just go with the tide.
Not after all these years, John. Something terrible's happened to Harriet. I don't know what it is, but we've got to help her. You've got to go after her.
Why?
Because she's in trouble.
How do you know?
Because she's a gentle, sensitive woman. And she didn't even cry. Oh, she's hiding something. I know she is, darling. Will you please go and help her? Oh, thank you, dear.
Harriet. Give it back to her. Start walking.
John, I tried so hard to keep you and May out of this. Why didn't you stay at home?
Because we're your friends. Well, we hope you enjoyed tonight's story, and that you'll be with us next week for another episode of Waterfront.